Hey, what's going on? I'm back with another one. I just wanted to share my story, give some guys some hope. Um, so I was born to Wyndham, Ohio. It's a small town. It's poor. I was born at 4995 Community Road to my mom and my dad. Um, we moved out of there to a trailer park. My parents had a toxic relationship. We ended up getting uh, my parents ended up getting divorced when I was 7. Um, After they got divorced, I was pretty angry. I was in trouble a lot at school. The principal came looking for me every day if I wasn't in there by 9 o'clock because I was that bad of a kid and that angry. Um, my grades dropped from A's to F's. In the summer from third to fourth grade, we moved out to Ravenna. I went to school out there for a few years. Ended up going to Southeast. Um, when I lived in Ravenna, I had my own little hustles. Like I mowed grass and I did shit the kids do to make money. Um, I made money playing cards. When I got to a teenager, I started selling drugs. My first arrest was at 16 for underage drinking. At 17 or 18, I moved out. By 19, I was a tree trimmer selling weed. I got laid off from being a tree trimmer. Started selling pounds. Now, I'm not saying any of this to brag or to boast. Um, it's just to let people know that I did it and that you shouldn't do it. Like it has consequences. Um, so I was running and gunning, doing dumb shit. In 2012, I got arrested for aggravated trafficking. 2013, I got put on treatment lieu. 2014, I became a felon. May 14th, 2014. My license was suspended. On May 14th, I got a driving under suspension. May 16th, I got 2 driving under suspensions. Um, I ended up going to a private health insurance called Glen Bay because of my mom's health insurance. Because my mom's a school driver, a school bus driver. Um, I didn't go there to get sober. I went there because I was homeless. I got out, and after that, I started shooting heroin instead of just snorting it. Um, I ended up getting arrested, or I ended up getting questioned for tampering with evidence, and then I pled guilty, um, became a felon again, got put on probation. While I was out on bond for that, though, I was on the run for months. Um, I didn't get sentenced for that until 2015, until after I was sober. But I went from that to my dad dying in December on the run to me getting arrested on the day of my dad's funeral. Didn't get to go to his funeral. I let drugs in my pride not let me say my last words to my father. Um, I ended up on February 20th of 2014. My friend used our car and he ran from the police. And when they pulled us over in a different car because he came back to get us because our car was hot, he ended up getting pulled out, getting arrested for fleeing and looting. They didn't ID us, they didn't search us, they just patted us down and let us walk. That's the first time I seen God working in my life because I should have been arrested. Um, that Friday, we drove to our car. We went to Cleveland. We copped. We drove to Canton, and I wanted to get sober. My brothers had died at 26, 27, and 28, and I was having night terrors for probably 6 months to a year prior to that I was going to die at 25 or 29. Um, so my girlfriend at the time, her friend didn't like me, but he let me sleep on his couch until I could get into treatment. Um, I ended up going to a halfway house on February 23rd, 2014. That's my sobriety date. I went to the Absolute House in Cleveland. I went in there with a outfit and shoes. I didn't have the toothbrush, money, nothing. I literally had the clothes on my back. Um, while I was living there, I was 30 days from being 26. I didn't take it seriously at first. I figured I was still going to prison. I was on probation for one felony. I got arrested for another felony. Um, on my birthday, I ended up hearing a lead from a guy that was looking at life in prison from the feds for stuff he was doing. And he said that he did the right stuff, got sober, and didn't have to go do time. So that gave me hope. So I started taking things seriously. I did everything they told me to do. I asked questions. I took advice. I listened. Um, I wasn't well liked. I rubbed people the wrong way. Um, a lot of the guys that were in there still had a street mentality, and I wouldn't fight, and I wouldn't do anything because I was there just to stay sober. And if I ended up catching another case while in there, I was for sure going to the pen, and I wasn't trying to do all that. Um, um, the first like 6 months, I couldn't work. I did some roofing here and there. By the time I became an electrician, I owed the house $900. To get to work, I had to catch the bus, walk a mile and a half to the job, work, get dropped off, catch the bus back, go to meetings, go to IOP, do my chores, eat, go to sleep, pray, all that stuff. And it was hard. It was rough. It was real rough. The first 3 weeks of me getting paid, the house took all my money except for $40. After I paid the money for my rent, they kicked me out at 11 o'clock at night in Cleveland. I had to go sleep on a couch. I went to work the next day, figured out a place to stay. Someone in the program helped me, let me rent a room for $200 a month. And then I just continued to keep doing that. And eventually I started making more money, like $1 here, $1.50 here. In my first year, I got a $3 worth of raises from just learning and asking and wanting to know, working hard, being on time. At about 15 months sober, the girl I was dating when I was using, we had been dating for like 6 or 7 years at the time. We broke up. I met a woman 2-3 weeks later, got her pregnant the first time that we did it. Soon as she was pregnant, I started taking stuff even more seriously, like trying to progress in my career. My son's mixed, so I started reading about the Black community and statistics and questions about the community so that when he got older, I could answer them. About that time, I bought my first vehicle off the dealership. Started building my credit. My credit was good enough to get a car off the lot without a cosigner. I overpaid on the car. I'm still paying on the car. I've had the car for 3 years and I'm paying $4,000 still left on the vehicle. Lesson learned. I went from being a non-union electrician to being union, back to non-union, back to union. Just trying to make more money, stay consistently working. During that time, after my son was born, I wasn't allowed to, there were times I wasn't allowed to see him. His mom would get mad at me. I put myself on child support so I could see my kid. Um, got put on $1,300 a month on child support, making $17 an hour. I went from being able to pay my bills to living off $800 a month. My car insurance and truck payment was about $500 a month because of all those suspensions I had gotten. I went to court for custody, trying to get rights to my son, spent thousands of dollars for that. Ended up moving in with a buddy. He ended up relapsing. I was paying for the apartment while after he relapsed. I ended up letting my son's mom stay with me and helping her get an apartment. And then I was supposed to claim my son that year, and she filed taxes and claimed him. So I ended up losing that apartment because I couldn't afford it. And I was hoping by the money I spent, I'd get back when I filed my taxes. That didn't happen. So April of last year, I had to move in with my mom. The first time I lived with my mom since like 17. I was there for 27 days and I couldn't do it. It just wasn't. I can't get along with my mom. I can't get along with my mom at all. So I moved out. I moved to Cleveland and I lived in my buddy's attic for $300 a month until an apartment opened up. And I've been in this apartment for a little over a year. During that year, I had a kid with a woman that I was dating that trapped me. During my sobriety, there was a woman that I was madly in love with, and we planned on getting married and having a kid. And we were trying to have a kid, and she got pregnant, and she ended up having an abortion. And there's nothing I could really do about it. She told me that she had the abortion so that it would set me over the edge. So the reason I say all this is because at the end of the day, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've made a lot of poor choices with women, a lot of poor choices with not finishing school and doing drugs and committing crimes and not taking stuff seriously. But in a year's time, I went from living in an attic to having an apartment to getting a studio to do YouTube videos to trying to start a business to like, if you buckle down and work hard, you can do anything that you put your mind to. Like, you don't have to follow or do the same stuff that I did and make the mistakes I did. You can learn from my mistakes. And the reason I'm making this channel is because I want to help men better themselves and show them that no matter what, even with face tats and felonies and baby moms and poor decisions, you can still have a good life. A lot of the men out here don't realize their potential and don't have real discipline to get to it. If you guys liked the video, subscribe, like, comment. If there's anything you have questions about or anything you want to talk about or anything at all, put it in the comments down below. I have a Patreon. You can also find me at Savage Red Recovery on Instagram, Facebook. The name of the channel you can find on all social media platforms. But yeah, thank you guys for your time, your support. You guys have a good night.